Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I keep looking this way because the sun is going to come out from behind a building and ruin my light, and I got to make this video quick. Not too quick, though. I have a question here from YouTube user Safety Buddy. Bit of an odd question, but I have thoughts, so I thought I'd take a crack at answering it. Safety Buddy asked us, Vincent, can a client request an in-person meeting with the head of a law firm and pay cash then and there for the meeting? I know someone that is trying to trust his attorneys with a law firm, but has doubts that they believe his story. He has not seen them in person yet and is not sure they're a good fit for him. He hopes that meeting them in person will help him and the law firm decide if they should continue forward or part ways. Okay, so a couple of thoughts here. First and foremost, Safety Buddy, if this person's already a client, like this is an existing client of a law firm, I don't think there's any reason why that this person could not request an in-person meeting, right? Unless, listen, if they're in a different part of the country or something like that and they want an in-person meeting and they're like, you got to fly out to me, listen, unless that was in the agreement, I don't think too many firms are going to do that, right? But let's assume, for whatever purpose, for the purposes here today, that this person's local counsel. This person hired a local attorney and has not met that local attorney in person yet, which is very common in 2023. A lot of firms are still doing remote work. A lot of firms are not having as many in-person meetings. Certainly, I see a lot of that. And so this person's an existing client. This person's been taken on, made an offer of representation. They've hired the firm. They can absolutely ask. And it's completely reasonable to be like, hey, listen, I want to meet in person to talk about this. Perfectly reasonable. Now, quick note here, though. This person has a firm that's investing in the case, time, effort, expenses, all these things that firms invest in the case. It's a bit odd that the person thinks the firm doesn't believe them. Right? I mean, that generally, just at the level of an agency case, EEOC type of deal, generally speaking, I'll know that my firm is going to invest between 10 and 20 grand in a case. And if somebody came to me and said, listen, I just don't know if you believe me, my response would be, if I didn't believe you, I wouldn't have thrown 10 to 20 grand at your case to invest in you and in this claim, right? Like, I'm not such a great guy that I just throw money away, right? Like, that's not really how I roll. The trailer park part of me is going to very much want to hold on to the money. Hold my money. Like, my precious, right? So, like, if a client comes like, Vince, I just don't know if you believe me. The response is, I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't believe you. Do you know how many people call me up and I decide that I think they're lying? And I say, hey, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm not going to help you. Probably about 19 people for every one case that I'll even consider taking. That's not true. Let me be more clear on that. We take 1 out of 20 cases that we speak to on the phone generally. That's roughly, it goes up and it goes down, but that's a ballpark idea. If we talk to 20 people, there might be one case where we make an offer of representation. And in that 19 that we turn down, again, a ballpark figure, a lot of those people, for whatever reason, were just like, listen, you have a claim, but you should go with local counsel. Or, you got a claim, but we'd spend more representing you than we might hope to win, so we can't make you an offer. Or we just don't think you have a claim, right? And I don't ever tell anybody they don't have a claim. I'm just like, listen, I don't see a claim. You should talk to local counsel. Maybe they'd find something, but I'm not into it. Makes people very angry. Also in that 19, there's people who call me up and say, hey, if I want to have a good case, what would I say? And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to engage in this with you. Pretty clear what you're trying to do. And like, no, I wouldn't lie. I just want to know what a great case sounds like. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore, right? And then there's other people who call up and they have the ideal story. It's just right. And for whatever reason, something about the story makes me say, I believe victims, but not you. And that's my prerogative. It's my prerogative to decide who we're going to help. In fact, it's not only my prerogative, it's my job. I'm the decider. I decide who gets help from our firm, right? Lots of firms. I'm not the only guy in town, or the country for that matter. But, it's my job to decide. And our firm, if I decide poorly, will not be here next year. It's that simple, right? So this idea that the firm doesn't believe you, but they're working on your case, I'm somewhat skeptical of that line of thought. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I don't know the details of what's going on. I don't know what's happening that makes you think they don't believe you, or anything like that. I'm just saying it sounds like they may have engaged in a rather large leap of faith based purely on believing you. And that's meaningful, and perhaps something to cogitate upon, to think upon. Winnie the Pooh style, right? Think. So, be aware of that. They probably don't think you're a liar. They would have dumped your case, right? Like if I have a lot of money invested in a case and then it comes to my attention that somebody's a liar in a meaningful, substantive way tied to the case, I cut that investment and say, farewell, shithead. Go be a piece of shit on someone else's doorstep, right? Like 100% of the time. Because I don't feel like making money off of some asshole suborning perjury and hurting everyone, every legitimate victim in all the land. And also some employer that did nothing wrong, right? I have no interest in that. So this passive distrust is I don't love it as an idea. I don't love it as a line of thought. I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying your buddy's wrong or right. I'm just saying, Now, all of this presupposes that this person's a client who's already received an offer of representation. If it's a potential client, and a potential client says, I'm only going to hire you if I can meet you in person, I say, cool, go hire someone else. So, like, if you're not going to tell me about your case over the phone, and you're going to demand an in-person meeting, you better be calling in a favor from someone I like a whole bunch. Because no, we've had some issues with people like trying to get past our security and calling my staff cowards and like trying to like get access to me and stuff like that. I don't even know what these people want. Sometimes they just want to be like in a room with me, which is actually the worst thing. I've had some issues. Listen, there's times in my career where I took a different way to work every day, right? Like. And that predates the YouTube channel. The recent stuff has all been tied to the YouTube channel, gaining, some modicum of popularity. The old stuff was just people who, you sue the wrong fella. And maybe he shows up at your office telling people he's hunting for you. Maybe you got to buy really nice presents for the security fellas at your building. Because they've had to deal with some stuff, right? And that all predates. This new stuff is just tied to the YouTube channel, which, mixed blessing, right? So, early on, if somebody's like, listen, I want an offer of representation from you, but I don't want to do it unless I can meet you in person. Generally speaking, the answer is just no thank you. And I'm sure someone else would do that, right? There are absolutely firms who would be like, yes, please, we'll meet with you. I would urge you to deal with those firms if you need that in-person meeting, right? I meet with my clients in person because I owe them a duty of loyalty. And part of that duty of loyalty is meeting their needs, which are varied and multidimensional, right? And if part of what they're saying is like, Vince, God damn it, you're up in New Hampshire, and this is my life and my livelihood, and I need you. Can you just come down? And the answer has to be, Yeah, I owe that to you. Fine. Booking a flight, right? But that's very different from, hey, I'd like to hire you, but I don't want to tell you about my case until you invest time and money coming to see me. Farewell, sir. Right? It's just not going to happen. It's not a reality. But also, there's a difference here in that we're a firm that is dealing with more potential cases than we can handle, and I mean that in the sense that we can't really scale up in the way we want to. Like, it's hard to scale up in this industry because representation in this field is so personality driven, right? I can't go hire 10 of me, nor would I want to, frankly. But I also couldn't go hire 10 of, we have some attorneys here, Michael Hilferty, Jesse Rose, Samantha. Like, I can't just go hire clones of these people, right? These are people who I've determined are making good choices for our clients, doing the right thing, helping people. But I can't just go get more of them, right? It's hard to find those people. And sometimes when you find them and you invest lots of time and money in them, they take incredible jobs in-house and do big things. And you're really happy for them, but you're like, God damn it, I could have helped so many people if that attorney had stayed, right? That attorney was amazing. But you're also happy for that attorney, right? That attorney's job wasn't to stay with you and work at an employment law firm, especially if she or he could make more money, right? That's not their job. It's their job while they're here, but it's not their job to stay, right? They're allowed to go on to bigger and better things. And sometimes those bigger and better things have such high price tags attached to their payroll that I have to say, I'm happy for you. I don't think I can match that, all of which is a long-winded way of saying it's hard to scale. It's hard. It's not as though I can endlessly take cases, right? People will always say, oh, you got more cases than you can take, just hire more attorneys. No. That's not how this works. This is complex litigation. Detail-driven, where the imagination matters, and meeting the emotional needs of your client can be as important as litigating effectively, right? So, and again, we're not mental health professionals. We can't be your therapist, but we can be mindful of what you've been through, right? So all of this is a long-winded way of saying, yeah, we have more cases than we can take. And sometimes you say to people, listen, you have a great case. You've got a great case, but it didn't make the cut for us. You should go hire another firm. Not a great way to make friends. I'll tell you that right now. But it is honest and open and just a reality of the limitations of time and space and human capacity, right? And we have to be doing right by our clients. So that sometimes means, hey, we're getting close to capacity right now. We can't just keep taking cases willy-nilly. Got to slow it down, right? And other firms are out there starving to death. They are. And some of these firms are good attorneys who do good things and help a lot of people, right? But for whatever reason, they just don't get the volume of cases. And that makes it very hard, right? So those firms are going to say, yeah, let's meet. Can I buy you a steak dinner? I hear there's a nice raw bar down on the corner. How do you feel about crab and lobster, right? Because Vince says the case is good. Vince vouches for you, and I'd love to sit down with you. And that Vince guy, he just won't get on a plane because he likes his little hobby farm so GD much, right? So safety buddy, listen, it's going to be different firm to firm, is what I'm trying to say in the most long-winded way possible. It's not an unreasonable ask, especially for a client. For a non-client, for me, probably the answer is no. Just got to be honest with you. Probably the answer is no. And it's not because, I hate people or anything like that. It's not because, I'm worried about, people have, snuck by our security and we've had really weird issues and stuff like that. It's partially all those things. But it's mostly just, listen, I got clients. and I got things I have to do for myself. And meeting someone's whims to travel down and sit down for an hour to hear if I want to take a case or not doesn't really work. Doesn't work. Anyway, Safety Buddy, I hope this helps. I hope this answers your questions. This is a long-winded way of answering this question, but I thought there was a lot of meat on this question to kind of talk around, to give you the totality of my thoughts. And also, I wanted to stress that my thoughts are not the thoughts of other firms. So, your ask might be more reasonable. I guess your buddy's ask might be more reasonable in other firms. Whereas for me, less so. If it was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below. Helps me to help more people just like you. Take care.